Okay, let's discuss our Unit 1 review. Number 1, order the numbers from least to greatest. Well, if you remember correctly, the negatives are going to be smaller than the positive numbers, and if a negative number is closer to 0, it's going to be bigger than some of the other negative numbers. So let's find the smallest number here. -20, and then we have -1. So we use that one and this one, and we look at our numbers. Then we would have 0 if we were on a number line, 6, 10, we use those, 14, and 16. Question number 2. In Minnesota during the winter, Jamie recorded the temperatures on the table below. Which of these shows the temperatures from warmest to coldest? Okay, so let's look. We've got at 8 o'clock it was -15, 10 o'clock -8, 12 o'clock 12, 2 o'clock 10. Well, from warmest to coldest, the warmest would be the 12. So that's warm. And then the 10. And then the -8. And then the -15. So I need to look for 12, 10, -8, and 15. So that looks like it would be B. Okay, question number 3. Each white square represents +1, and each gray square represents -1. Which expression shows the value of the set of squares? Let's see how many white squares. 1, 2, 3, 4, and white's +1, so I'm going to say +4. Plus, I have 1, 2, 3 gray squares, and those are -3. Now I can solve those by using my 0 pairs. Remember, they go away, and I have a +1 left. So my answer would be +4 plus -3, so it would be C. Number 4. A negative number multiplied by a negative number equals a positive number. Number 5. A negative number plus a negative number equals a negative number, because we're still on that side of the number line. Number 6. Underline the keyword and write an integer that represents the following statements. A. The temperature rose 7 degrees. I'm going to underline rose. That means it got higher, so that's +7. B. The quarterback lost 8 yards. He lost something, so that's in the negative, so I'm going to write -8. C. Mr. Motz withdrew $10 from his bank account. Withdrew is the key word. He took money out. He lost it. D. Dee Dee deposited $15 into her bank account. Deposited is the key word. She added money to her bank account. E. The value of Ann's stock dropped 2 points. It went down 2 points. Number 7. The high temperature in Garland dropped 3 degrees every 2 hours. What integer represents the temperature after 6 hours? Okay, so if it dropped 3 degrees every 2 hours, 6 divided by 2 is 3, so it dropped 3 degrees every 2 hours. So 3, okay, so we have 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours. So every 2 hours it dropped 3 degrees. So I'm going to just kind of show you with this little drawing. So it dropped 3, 6, 9. So what integer represents the temperature after 6 hours? It could have been -9 degrees. Number 8. The number line below is used to model a problem using integers. What addition equation is modeled above? Now, if you remember when we talked about number lines, we said you always start at 0. So start at 0, and it looks like she went 1, 2, so plus 2, and then she went back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, plus negative 5, and she landed at negative 3. So that is the equation. Number 9. What is the value of the expression below? 3 plus 3 is 6. We're going to have to square that. Divided by 6 minus 2 times negative 12 is negative 24. Okay, then 6 times 6 is 36. Divided by 6. Those two negatives are going to become positive. 36 divided by 6 is 6. And 6 plus 24 is 30. Number 10. Find the value of the expression below. Start inside your parentheses and your brackets. 2 plus 3 is 6. We still have brackets. And 4 times 2 is 8. 6 minus 12 is minus 6 plus 8. And then we know that negative 6 plus 8 is 2. Number 11. The temperature in Joe's freezer was 10 degrees this morning, then dropped by 15 degrees. By noon it had gone up another 8 degrees. Which was the freezer's temperature at noon? So it started at 10 degrees this morning, it dropped 15 degrees. By noon it went up another 8 degrees, and that's our expression or our equation so far. Now we need to figure out what the answer is. Okay, so 10 minus 15 is minus 5 plus 8, and negative 5 plus 8 is 3. So his freezer's temperature was 3. Which model represents negative 5 plus 2? Okay, so remember we need to start at 0, and we would go over negative 5, so I'm going to look at the 0 here. Does it go over negative 5? No, so it can't be that one. I'm going to look at this one. I'm going to start at 0, goes over negative 5, looks like it goes over negative 5, and then back to, oh, I bet it's this one. But just in case, let's look at this one. Starts at 0, goes over negative 5, but does it go back to? No, it goes over negative 2. So it's not this one. And it's not the last one. So let's go back up and say that this starts at 0, it goes over negative 5, and it goes back over positive 2. Okay, number 13. The Silva's monthly cell phone bill ranges from $45 to $65. What is a reasonable total amount that the Silva family would pay yearly for using their cell phone? Well, I'm going to kind of take an estimate and say that between 45 and 65, I'm going to say maybe about $50 of an average. For a year, that's 12 months. So I'm going to multiply. 2 times 0 is 0. 2 times 5 is 10. Don't forget my place value. 1 times 0 is 0. 1 times 5 is 5. So bring that down and add those together. So I'm going to say I took a pretty decent, reasonable amount. So it could be about $660 a year. Number 14. Kelsey's party included a trip to a movie theater for all 15 people at her party. Tickets to the matinee they attended were between $4 and $5 each, which is the best estimate of the total cost of the movie tickets together. Well, between $4 and $5, I would say it's about $4.50 spent on movie tickets. There were, 15 people there? So 5 times 0 is 0. 5 times 5 is 25. Carry the 2. 5 times 4 is 20 plus 2, 22. Place value 0. 1 times 0 is 0. 1 times 5 is 5. 1 times 4 is 4. Add these together. 0, 5, 7, 6. Count my decimal places over 2 spaces. Count my decimal places over 2 spaces. So she spent about $67.50 on average. Now if I look at my answers, I would say C. They spent from between $50 to $75. That's a reasonable answer.